Hey everybody, welcome back to the LuckyDog podcast. This is your host, Elias Roush. This podcast is sponsored by EliasRoushMedia.com, photo, video, digital media production. Today we are discussing Godzilla v. Kong 2021. Godzilla v. Kong is the 2021 American monster film directed by Adam Wingard, sequel to both Godzilla King of Monsters in 2019 and Kong Skull Island 2017. Currently, we've only covered on the podcast King of Monsters. I have gone back and watched Skull Island, but I need to do a review of it. I'm kind of unsure, depending on how well this review does. Will depend on if we decide to go back and give Kong Skull Island a full in-depth review. However, I have seen it, so I do have these under my belt as just references and knowing what they are. So, there's been tons of like Godzilla legendaries, the production companies legendaries, Godzilla. I think even since from the Bryan Cranston franchise. So what am I looking at? It is the fourth film in the Legendary Monsters universe. So what do we have? The Kong Skull Island. We got the Godzilla. We got what do we got? Now we have King Kong versus Godzilla. So it's like the cream of the crop. It's the clash of the titans. You know, it's some of the biggest monster battles that have been on cinema to this date. So given that there's the pandemic going on, you know, different states have different laws regarding about going to the movie theater. I do think this would be best seen or, best viewed on the biggest screen possible. I know this is one of those movies that could be categorized as a big, dumb movie, and I can't really argue with it, but with saying that, I think that it would still serve the viewer the most spectacle on the biggest screen possible. So I did watch this on my television. I didn't watch this on theater, so I do regret that just a tad bit, which might affect my viewing a little bit, but that's just something that you should know how we should go going forward with this. Shut up! Freaking my echo is just like busting one over there. Okay, so let me see. It is also the 36th film in the Godzilla franchise, 12th film in the King Kong franchise, and 4th Godzilla film to be produced by the Hollywood studio. This movie stars Alexander Skarsgard, the oldest of the Skarsgards. Actually, there's an older Skarsgard that's a father Skarsgard, but we're not going to talk about him. He's the oldest of the siblings. We got Millie Bobby Brown from Stranger Things, Rebecca Hall, Brian Tyree Henry. What else have we got? Sean O'Geary, Isa Gonzalez, Julian Dennison, Lance Riddick, Kyle Chandler, and Demian Bashir. In the film, Kong clashes with Godzilla as humans lure the giant ape into the hollow earth to retrieve a power source for a weapon to stop Godzilla's mysterious rampages. So, it was announced back in October 2015. They had been planning this, franchise for quite a while. I wouldn't say this is not nearly as planned out and as well as everyone's going to compare it to the Marvel franchise and how Disney has had meticulous planning ever since they did the the beginning of Iron Man, and just had this incredible franchise. So everyone's been trying to do their monster universe, their own multiverse, their own something or another to bring in all of their franchises all into one kind of big hit. So Adam Wingard, I'm a little bit in the dark about who this guy is, but I think he's best well known for the films You're Next in 2011, The Guest 2014, The Blair Witch 2016 project, Death Note 2017, and I've heard multiple reports that he is supposed to direct and co-write a sequel to Face Off, which is going to be pretty interesting. That is a crazy ass movie from the 90s. Nicolas Cage and fucking what the hell is his name? John Travolta, God. Yeah, fucking John Travolta and Nicolas Cage doing some craziness. And this guy is also going to come in and possibly direct the Thundercats adaptation. So I'm kind of excited about that. Thundercats! I don't remember anything else from that. I just remember everyone's like yelling and shit like that. But anyways, that is Adam Wingard. So let's go a little bit in depth about this movie from what's going down, the breakdown. The budget, $155 million to $200 million budget, running time, 113 minutes. I think that's, what is that, just under 2 hours. But yeah, so let's see what it says. The film generally received positive reviews from critics and praise for the visual effects and action sequences, but criticism toward the script and human characters. It broke several pandemic box office records and has grossed $258 million worldwide against a break-even point of $330 million, making it the third highest grossing film of 2021. Also a major streaming hit, becoming the most successful launch in HBO Max's history. So this seems to have even broken Zack Snyder's Justice League's big release. I kind of thought that was going to be a little bit bigger than it was, but I think that they kind of overestimated their the audience's interpretation for wanting to see all of Zack Snyder's goodness on screen or even on streaming. It's a loud minority, but they wanted to see it anyway. So let me see what we got. What do we got? Okay, so screenplay, Eric Pearson, Max Borenstein. Pearson's known for feature films Thor Ragnarok, Black Widow, Godzilla v. Kong. Borenstein was working on Godzilla 2014. We have covered that, by the way. Kong Skull Island 2017. He did contribute to 2019's King of Monsters. And now he's here. So, with saying all that, we have pretty much the majority of the people that have been involved in a big chunk of what's going on in this monster universe. But let's kind of go down to the basics. All right, so we got the cinematography, Ben Siren, music by Tom Holkenberg, also known as Junkie XL, which is, this dude must be just getting hella work from HBO. He was the same guy on Zack Snyder's stuff as well. I kind of liked his work here better. Let me see what Ben Sarenstein's best known for. Sarensen is best known for. Oh, God. He's best known for his work on Transformers Revenge of the Fallen. Is that the second one? And World War Z and Unstoppable. I thought those were... I think I liked Unstoppable the best out of all those, but I wasn't crazy about them, to be honest. Yeah, he also worked on Pain and Gain with Michael Bay, The Mummy in 2017. Yeah, I don't see too many things I'm crazy about on this, but anyways, that's just the cinematographer. I think this is some of his best work, to be honest. When it comes to the massive scale of what we're getting in this movie, I just really enjoyed it. So let's talk about the plot a little bit. Hold on, I'm going to do a little pros and cons of this movie. I actually was doing a live tweet, so if you want to check out all my live tweets on some of the movies that I follow, that I watch, go to @LuckyDog Podcast on Twitter, and you'll be able to follow all the live tweeting that we do with some a handful of movies. So yeah, I think the pros are it is a big, dumb, fun action movie. The best things about it are the action. The camera work is a lot better in this movie when it comes down to knowing where we are in correlation of these massive monsters that are the size of buildings. I felt like the biggest problem in the previous films, so if we want to talk about just in the last, I think 10 years of the last Legendaries Monsterverse, we have the one, Godzilla, I think 2014, that one with Bryan Cranston. The biggest problem with that was it was so serious, it was so dramatic, and it felt super real, but also to the point where I wasn't having that much fun, and we don't actually get to see too much of the monsters. The next one was Godzilla. Sorry, not Godzilla. Kong Skull Island. I think that what they tried to do there was they tried to make it more of like a universal ride while watching it. And so when you're doing that, it changes the effect of how, what you're going through of watching it. It's like they really tried to have the explorer, they tried to have the scientist, they tried to have the photographer, they tried to have the person that was stuck on the island. It was all the different tropes that you would think you would really like. And the majority of people I know really do like Kong Skull Island. I got to say, I think I'm one of the biggest critiques. I have the biggest critiques of Kong Skull Island because I've watched it. I watched it several times without watching the full thing through. I saw bits and pieces, and then like 2 weeks ago I watched the entire movie, and I still feel like those characters are so hollow. They can't really write these characters to make them interesting. Now, I do think the most interesting characters in all of the series are in Kong Skull Island, but yet they're still boring in my opinion. I don't really understand why they are like that. Maybe John C. Reilly might have been the best character in that. Maybe Samuel L. possibly as well. But the thing is, they only have a handful of the characters follow, this Legendary's Monsterverse. So what I had heard was Bryan Cranston. I'm not going to go into specific reasons why he's not in the rest of the Legendary's Monsterverse, but he's not. And I think the big criticism from that movie, which was in like 2014, is there should have been that one solid guy we keep going to every single movie that gives us the relatability. They keep changing the cast on us, and we barely were relating to these monsters in a way, so that it's just they don't seem to kind of be building on the stories that they already have, which thus leaves us only wanting additional action. And so when there's not this fun action going on, we're kind of left with, all right, do we care about these characters yet? No, we don't. Okay, so then let's get back to the action kind of thing. So I felt that again here. They still do not know how to write the humans in an interesting way. I think the biggest problem is they always write these characters in a way that feel that you are supposed to care about these characters, but they are inconsequential to what's happening on these massive scales, So I did feel like the Kong Skull Island was a little bit more important with regards to their input in the story. Like in this movie, I felt like Brian Tyree Henry, Millie Bobby Brown, all the information they find is irrelevant towards. It's supposed to be a big reveal, but I mean, us as a viewer, we're going to find this out anyway. So it almost becomes inconsequential. So make them matter. So let's see. So this was supposed to be released, I think last year sometime. I need to check. I don't know, but let me see. All right, so we are going to cover the plot right here. So this is the spoiler section. Thank you, everyone, for listening, watching LuckyDog Podcast. Thank you for supporting LuckyDog Podcast. If you want to listen to the spoiler section, please go to at Patreon, patreon.com/LuckyDog Podcast. You'll get the spoiler section, and you'll get a slightly longer podcast, as well as the full cast of all the other things that we have covered. We've covered Search Party. We've covered Possessor 2020, Sound of Metal. There are tons of reviews that are already hot and ripe for the picking. So go check that out. Thank you for listening, watching LuckyDog Podcast. Again, I would give this movie, I think I gave it a 6 out of 7. Let me just confirm that real quick. And if I haven't, I think that's what I'm going to give it. 6 out of 7, 6 out of 10. Let me see. Yeah, I think I'm going to give this a solid 6 out of 10 because I've watched it a week ago and I can't remember a lot of the fundamental parts of it. Most of it's just visual. I think that it really has, it doesn't deserve much higher than that. But I still want to see more in this world. All right, thank you for watching, listening, LuckyDog Podcast. Here is the spoiler section. Take it easy.